Hi there, I'm Emily Mielstein with the Golf Council, and this is a public comment video designed to get your comments on a framework action that considers modifying the red snapper for hire fishing season. So currently, red snapper is allocated so that 51% is harvested commercially and the remaining 49% is harvested by the recreational sector. Now, as you see, the recreational sector is split up into two separate components, which allows those two sectors to have separate regulations. The federal for hire component and the private recreational component. So this document specifically deals with that federal for hire component because the private recreational component is managed by each of the Gulf states. So the federal for hire season opens on June 1 and it remains open until the annual catch target is projected to be met. There is a 2 fish per person bag limit with 0 captain and crew bag limit, and there is also a minimum size limit of 14 inches total length for those fishermen fishing from federally permitted for hire vessels. So public comment has indicated that the fleet might actually prefer the season to open earlier rather than remain open later in the summer or beyond August, because that's a slower season for hire fishing. As you can see, this table will show us year over year what the different catch limits are, what the different closure dates are, and the number of days that the season has been open for the federal for hire component back since 2020. One thing you'll notice is that the season has gotten longer every year. So we're looking at modifying the fishing season for the federal for hire component of the fishery to allow greater recreational access while continuing to constrain landings to the annual catch limit for that federal for hire component. So we need to do this in order to allow the federal for hire component more opportunity to harvest red snapper at a level that is consistent with achieving optimum yield for the recreational sector in the long term, while preventing overfishing on an annual basis and while rebuilding the snapper stock. So this is a single action document, and the first action considers modifying the for hire red snapper season. The duration of the for hire season has increased each year since 2015. So that table I showed you only went back to 2020, but it actually started in about 2015. Public testimony has indicated that for hire operators do prefer a fishing season to end no later than August 31st, with a preference for opening before the June 1 opener. However, opening before June 1 would require National Marine Fisheries Service to project what the for hire fishing season would be during a period when it has no comparable fishing data for red snapper. So the uncertainty here in dialing back before June 1 is pretty big. So the first alternative is the no action alternative, and that would leave the season open date on June 1 and close it when the annual catch target is projected to be met. The second alternative, which is currently the Council's preferred alternative, would open the season the Friday before Memorial Day and then close it when the annual catch target was projected to be met. And then the third alternative would modify the federal for hire season so that it opens on May 15th and closes when the annual catch target is projected to be met. Now, recognize that if you go with either alternative 2 or 3, there is some uncertainty in making projections on how that would impact the season length because we don't have any years where we can compare data for that, since the federal for hire component has always opened on June 1. So with those alternatives in mind, we would like to hear from you before taking final action. You can submit your comments either by simply emailing us at golfcouncil@golfcouncil.org, or you can navigate to this link and you can go to our online comment tool specific for this issue and submit your comments. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and to send us your thoughts.